A woman leaps from a 10-meter tall building. You might think she's trying to kill herself, but that's not the case. She just wants to test the power of her new legs. In the world of the future, humanity has embarked on the path of cybernetic ascension. A boxer, Jack, arrives at a prosthetics company to buy a new arm. He's stopped at the security gate. He's only allowed to pass after showing his prosthesis to the front desk. A staff member leads him to the vault. He smoothly opens 3 lockers and takes out the cases one by one. At this point, the staff member beside him grows anxious, afraid Jack will snatch the goods and run. Jack removes his prosthetic hand and attaches the mechanical arm. After testing it a few times, he suddenly rushes the staff member. Jack indeed plans to kill him and steal the goods. The mechanical arm is immensely powerful. He easily takes out the employee. Then, he violently opens another safe and steals the diamonds inside. This was clearly a premeditated crime. Guards hear the noise and come to fight him, but the mechanical arm is impervious to weapons. They are no match for him. During the fight, Jack takes a bullet to the kidney. He clutches his wound and quickly flees, but he runs right into an armed unit that has just arrived. Just then, an oblivious, large woman happens to walk out and is taken hostage by Jack, who retreats indoors. The armed unit waits in formation outside the door. Then, they move as one and break down the door. Upon entering, they find Jack has already escaped through the floor. Meanwhile, Jack successfully escapes to the outside. His brother, Sang Biao, arrives immediately to extract him, but Jack's body is already spent. He pulls out the diamonds and gives them to Sang Biao. His brother wants to get the motorcycle to get him away, but Jack stops him. He says he doesn't want to slow his brother down. He snaps his own neck and dies instantly. Sang Biao watches his brother die, his eyes filled with tears. He hardens his heart and speeds away from the scene on his motorcycle. It turns out, as future technology developed, a type of mechanical prosthesis appeared on the market, quickly making its way into the world of sports. The protagonist Amy's sister relies on bionic legs to win the National Long Jump Championship. The crowd cheers wildly for her. She becomes the national spokesperson for mechanical prosthetics. But Amy, in the audience, seethes with hatred. All of this should have been hers. Why should that little cripple, who was never her equal, be so successful? Elsewhere, the police begin investigating Jack's body. Records show he was a decent boxer. Due to the rise of mechanical prosthetics, the performance of disabled athletes easily surpassed that of able-bodied ones, which brought his career to an abrupt end. Unwilling to accept this, he later staged an accident, crippling his own arm to fraudulently obtain a mechanical prosthetic arm. His scheme was later exposed, and the prosthesis was forcibly repossessed. All prosthetics require a neural chip link, so the one he had was clearly stolen from someone else. It seems the chip from that earlier corpse was stolen. He must have been the one who did it. The police then used a tattoo on Jack's wrist to launch a detailed investigation. The scene changes. Sang Biao has already fled back to his club with the diamonds. The members express their deep regret over Jack's death. Sang Biao quickly finds an expert to appraise the diamond's value. He discovers the purity is not very good. Jack's life was only worth 250,000, far from enough to change their fortunes. His brother could not have died in vain. They need a full million. Sang Biao suggests they should work together to pull off a big job. He decides to find someone to transform into a cyber warrior. Just then, her backstabbing brother, Zhao Hai, speaks up. There's a perfect candidate. His own older sister, Amy. He then leads Sang Biao to the stadium. Amy, an incredible runner, spots the two of them. Without being asked, she starts telling her family's story. Their family has an amazing long jump champion for a mother, a sister who's missing a leg but refuses to give up, a father who only cares for his disabled daughter, and a useless, game-addicted younger brother. The family was once relatively harmonious and happy. Her mother had high hopes for her, but she died suddenly in an accident. Amy lost her biggest supporter. Her once crippled sister got a mechanical prosthesis and began to outshine her in every way. Gradually, she and her sister grew completely apart. Fortunately, she still had her very adorable younger brother. After this simple introduction, the two are now acquainted. Sang Biao asks her why she's always training. Amy explains the difficult situation for able-bodied athletes now. They simply can't compete with athletes who have prosthetics. She says she has to work even harder. Zhao Hai seizes the opportunity to mention a very noble project that can help able-bodied athletes reclaim their ground. Hearing this from her brother, Amy dismisses it as child's play and just laughs it off. Meanwhile, the prosthetics company is constantly adjusting parameters, striving to create even more powerful mechanical limbs. They approach the sister's agent to discuss her participation in the games. They state that she must win the championship to promote their product. In their eyes, the sister is just a money-making tool for the prosthetics company. On the other side, Sang Biao shows up to build his image, handing out food and drinks to the athletes. He finds Amy again, telling her that if she gets a mechanical prosthesis, she's guaranteed to become a leading figure in the sports world. Amy feels she can't stoop to using such illegal methods. Sang Biao then starts to brainwash her with a sob story. He says his brother had a hard life. Just as he was making a name for himself, he was surpassed and replaced by mechanical prosthetics. Seeing her is like seeing his own unsuccessful brother. If she gets the prosthesis, she can definitely reclaim her glory. Amy starts to be swayed. That night, she rides her bike to meet him. Looking up, the streets are filled with her sister's endorsements. She often wishes it were all for her instead. She arrives at a promotional party held for her sister by sponsors. Her sister, fitted with the prosthesis, makes a perfect appearance. The public praise and her sister's provocations make her absolutely furious. Under the influence of alcohol, she starts to reflect on herself. Then, she blurts out the drunken truth, saying what's so great about athletes who break records with prosthetics. She used to admire the competitive spirit of disabled people, but now, looking at you cheaters corrupted by money, I look down on you from the bottom of my heart. With that said, she storms off. Nobody wants to bother with the crazy woman and they continue the party. Her sister never expected Amy's hatred to be so intense. After complaining to their dad, she joins the dance floor. Meanwhile, the police find information based on the tattoo. He and Jack founded a club, gathering many able-bodied athletes, and constantly preached that athletes should be allowed to get prosthetics. It was likely his idea for Jack to get the mechanical prosthesis. At this moment, Amy is riding home, listening to music. She's extremely depressed, still lamenting the unfairness of fate. Suddenly, she's hit by a car coming from an intersection. She's rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. When she wakes up, looking at her empty leg, Amy feels her world has collapsed and she can never compete again. She has completely failed her mother's last wish. After returning home, she walks to the mirror on crutches. Her sister arrives just in time to gloat. Her condescending words are truly harsh. Well, let's see then. What will Lady Luck do without her crutches? The two bickering has become a habit. Later, the prosthetics company approaches Amy and custom makes a mechanical prosthesis for her. They begin to implant the internal chip. After the successful installation, she is overjoyed. All her previous bitterness was just sour grapes. Now, with the help of the prosthesis, she can finally reclaim the glory that was originally hers. With the mechanical limb installed, her running and weightlifting are completely unaffected. The company staff tells her the mechanical leg is the perfect fit for her. With an excited heart, Amy is about to make her first jump since getting the prosthesis. However, the compatibility between the internal chip and her body is too low. After a reckless jump, she falls heavily to the ground. Checking her wrist, she finds the compatibility is only 6%. Anxiety will cause the value to drop rapidly. Once it drops to 0%, the wearer will fall completely unconscious. Right now, she needs to stop being anxious and get some rest, and slowly adapt to her new limb. Sang Biao happens to arrive to offer comfort. With just a few words, he sweet-talks Amy into his grasp. Sang Biao asks her to help him rob an armored truck. Saving the athlete's current situation requires money. Then he begins to feed her empty promises. Amy, lost in this tender trap, is unable to pull herself away and agrees to the operation. But she demands that her brother Zhao Hai not be involved. The two reach an agreement. At night, the members of the club begin their operation. They set up a roadblock. The armored truck foolishly changes its route, ending up in a deserted area. Amy kicks the target vehicle directly. The truck flips several times before stopping. You have to admit, these mechanical limbs are incredible. She then jumps onto the roof of the truck and kicks the roof wide open. She quickly throws a smoke bomb into the vehicle. The transport guards crawl out of the truck, choking on smoke. Sang Biao immediately rushes in to grab the money. Inadvertently, Amy's hood falls off. The unlucky guard makes direct eye contact with her. Sang Biao quickly lunges forward to silence him. Amy stands frozen in shock. Her accomplice shouts, "We got the money. Let's run." The group quickly returns to the club. Amy questions why they killed someone if they were doing a good deed. Sang Biao replies, "He saw your face, so he had to die." Just then, Zhao Hai returns to celebrate. Amy doesn't understand why her brother was also involved, but she's told that Zhao Hai planned the entire operation. Amy is so angry she could grind her teeth to dust. She asks them what the robbery was really for. They explain that a new batch of chips is about to hit the market, but they don't know the shipping information, so they had to go through the trouble of robbing for money to hire a hacker. Then they can intercept the shipment and create new bionic athletes. However, Amy's bottom line is her brother. She scolds Zhao Hai, forbidding him from participating in criminal activities. But Zhao Hai insists on following Sang Biao as his leader. He'd even eat crap if Sang Biao told him to. She can't understand what kind of spell Sang Biao has cast on him. Amy's veins bulge with anger. And on the other side, the police arrive at the crime scene to investigate. A survivor describes one of the perpetrators as having a mechanical leg. They immediately suspect Amy, who recently had a car accident. Two bionic athletes in one family is too much of a coincidence. Plus, she often visits Sang Biao. The power of the prosthesis is immense. Perhaps her car accident was also part of the plan. The officer quickly compares the time of the accident surveillance footage with the time of the emergency call. They discover someone called the police before the crash even happened. It doesn't take a genius to figure out something is wrong. At this moment, Amy isn't sure if she has made the right choices. As she climbs out of the pool, her sister notices a problem with her prosthesis. She has to make an excuse to brush it off. Suddenly, their dad arrives with good news. She will be competing with her sister in the Bionic games. She finally has a chance to shine. For a moment, her excitement is beyond words. But her sister is very unhappy. She's not willing to be overshadowed by her sister again. The two argue heatedly. The police arrive to ask about the car accident. Amy doesn't want to hear it and leaves immediately. The police tell her family that the accident may have been deliberate. They explain the suspicious points to them. Hearing this, the sister knows something is fishy. She is determined to find out the truth. After hearing this, Zhao Hai quickly warns Sang Biao to be careful, saying that the police have connected all the dots. The next day, the Bionic games officially begin. The sister goes first. Amidst the cheers, she immediately breaks the record, completing a spectacular jump. Next, it's Amy's turn. She must win back the glory that belongs to her. Everyone holds their breath. This jump sends the entire stadium into an uproar. She's even more amazing than her sister. Seeing the spotlight stolen by Amy, the sister refuses to be outdone. Sure enough, her second jump breaks the record again. Before she can celebrate for a few seconds, her record is easily broken by Amy. The sister is now furious. However, when it rains, it pours. Her compatibility level has dropped too low due to the stress. She's no longer fit to compete. But she can't be a deserter in this contest. She must settle the score with her sister. If nothing goes wrong, something is about to go wrong. She faints midair and falls hard to the ground. Amy successfully wins the competition, but she isn't as happy as she imagined. At this moment, she must escort her sister to the hospital. The results show her sister can never compete again, but their dad is only worried about whether she can still be profitable. Amy says it's all Dad's fault for letting the two sisters compete. but Dad thinks it's because she is too competitive. The two argue and part on bad terms. Later, Amy goes to the hospital room to watch over her sister's bed, saying that none of this was her intention. The next second, her sister wakes up and says Amy's car accident was a setup. She heard Amy's favorite music in the background of the emergency call. It turns out, Amy had called Sang Biao to help him time it right. The two of them planned the car accident together. She couldn't stand being a loser forever, which is why she made a deal with Sang Biao to work for him. Next, Amy will find Sang Biao to terminate their partnership. However, a short while ago, Sang Biao had just gotten the shipping information from the hacker. For Amy to back out now is a joke. He is furious but also helpless, as he can't possibly withstand the power of her mechanical leg. Having gotten everything, Amy is not happy. She vents her emotions constantly. Zhao Hai comes to comfort her with a drink. Without a second thought, Amy drinks it all. But she never expected her brother to drug her. A while later, a groggy Amy wakes up to find Sang Biao's men beating her father and kidnapping her sister. But she can only sit helplessly to the side. Sang Biao uses her sister to threaten Amy into participating in the operation. She has no choice but to obey. They then go to a room where the plan is explained to Amy. A helicopter will soon deliver the chips to the vault. They can't get to something flying in the sky. Their only chance is to strike while the cargo is being moved to the vault. But they can't get access to that floor. They need Amy to jump over from her position. This means she must break her previous records. Luckily, she actually does it. Seeing the transport personnel ahead, she takes out two of them with a few quick kicks. Then she grabs the case and flees the scene. Following Sang Biao's instructions, she drives to the delivery point. Watching Sang Biao walk towards her, she thinks, "My life is already ruined. Might as well take this devil down to hell with me." She slams the accelerator and crashes into the man. Still not satisfied, she runs him over again. She gets out of the car and sees it was her own foolish brother. She furiously charges at Sang Biao, who was watching from the side, but is knocked out by a single punch from the boxer. When she wakes up again, Sang Biao is gloating. He made a fortune off the chips. He happily invites Amy to see the treasure she brought back. But the deceived Amy stomps directly on the chips. The two sisters begin to fight the bad guys. Sisters united are a powerful force. After a fierce battle, they knock all the men to the ground. But from behind, Sang Biao suddenly gets up and stabs Amy in the side. The sister desperately protects her, but is caught in a tight chokehold by Sang Biao. At the critical moment, Amy lands several kicks in a row. Just then, many police officers arrive with guns drawn. Amy quickly tries to escape. Seeing this, the police immediately give chase. As Amy tries to climb a guardrail, her mechanical leg gets stuck. At the same time, her chip compatibility begins to plummet. She has no choice but to detach the prosthesis and fall to the ground. The police are about to capture her, but her sister drives up and rescues Amy. In the end, the two sisters go to a new place to start a new life. They are no longer competitive. They start teaching various sports to children. Sang Biao's former buyer finds the two of them, stating he still wants to build a bionic army. Amy asks him if 3 people are enough. The buyer is confused. There are 2 of them in front of him. So where is the third? It turns out, Zhao Hai has become a complete bionic person. His entire body has become impervious to weapons. The buyer, understanding the situation, leaves. The 3 siblings finally join hands to start a new life. And so, the film ends. The flesh is weak, the machine ascends. Athletes resort to any means necessary to win, casting aside the spirit of sportsmanship. If mechanical prosthetics really exist in the future, then there will be no fairness left in competition. Human achievement will only be measured by the ability of the prosthesis. What is the meaning of athletic achievement gained through machines? By then, the streets will be full of cybernetically enhanced people. Is this a situation we really want to see? Our bodies are a gift from our parents. We should all protect our own bodies. Alright, that's all for today's video. If you liked my video, please subscribe to my channel. Your support is my greatest encouragement.